What to bust next? Oh! Nancy Drew! I've been putting this one off for quite some time.
Whoa, hold your horses there, Chief. What makes you think you're qualified to review Nancy Drew?
I'm more than qualified. Not only am I a renowned internet critic and a pop culture expert, but I gained pretty impressive detective skills from my 4 years with the BPRD.
What? You had a desk job with the BPRD. You never did any field work. Let's face it, Erod, you have the detective skills of Inspector Gadget.
Wowzers. That was harsh. Look, one way or another, I'm still the Blockbuster Buster.
And I'm not trying to take that away from you, but out of the two of us, who has the most badass Nancy Drew book collection?
You do.
Who has beaten all the Nancy Drew computer games?
You have.
And who's an official Nancy Drew sleuth? So step aside and let the expert handle this one.
And what am I supposed to do while you're reviewing the movie?
Read this so I don't have to bail you out next time. Alright, gang, it's crime solving time. So hang on to your magnifying glasses, kids, because things are about to get serious mysterious. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. I'm Shirad, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster.
Hey!
Did you finish reading your book? Anyway, for as long as I can remember, I have been a die-hard Nancy Drew fan. Created by Edward Stratemeyer under the pseudonym Carolyn Keene, originally, Nancy was created as a response to the popularity of the Hardy Boys mystery series, and she was only intended to be the Hardys' female counterpart, as part of a ploy to bring in female readers. But, as fate would have it, Nancy went on to surpass the Hardys' popularity, and her book series began to sell out the Hardys almost instantaneously. While her status as one of the key figures of the female sleuth genre is undeniable, Nancy has evolved to be one of the greatest feminist icons in all fiction, to the degree that powerful women like Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor and Barbara Walters have claimed that they hold Nancy as one of their greatest inspirations. While the character has changed cosmetically throughout the years to appeal to contemporary audiences, 4 of her personality traits have always remained the same. Nancy is smart, outgoing, self-reliant, and she never, ever, ever gives up. So now join me, junior detectives, as I take a look at...
Hey, Shirab, can I be your Dr. Watson?
Dr. Watson doesn't hang out with Nancy Drew.
Okay. Can I be Gabriel then?
That's Xena.
Robin?
That's... fuck it. Close enough. How about you go look for some clues?
Cool! You got it, Shivas!
Anywho, let's take a look at the most recent adaptation of my favorite girl detective, 2007's Nancy Drew. So our movie begins with, oh my freaking god, it's the classic mystery series, and those are the actual illustrations from all the books! That was a beautiful and perfect way to open this film. I wonder why people complain about this movie so much. So we find Nancy just about to wrap up the case when she is caught by... Chris Kattan? Really? One of the bad guys in this movie is played by this asshole?
I broke the window again.
Fine. Well, at least we get to see Nancy pull off one of her classic escapes, using her cleverness and ingenuity to... feed the bad guys pastries.
One of Hannah's lemon bars.
Yo, sexist screenwriter, this is Nancy Drew, not little fucking Debbie. So, by using pastry power, Nancy talks the bad guys into giving up. Bullshit! But then she runs away, for no good reason. Sweetie, Chief McGinnis already caught the church thieves. There's no reason to climb out the window. Oh, Lord! But it's okay, kids. She has a grappling hook and a rope. Hey, Nancy, on your way down, don't forget to say hi to Sammy Davis Jr. for me.
Hey, Batman and Robin. What are you guys doing?
Oh, well. I guess this is as good a time as any to assess Emma Roberts as Nancy Drew. While she does look a little too young to play the character, Nancy is between 16 and 18 in the books. Emma is so great an actress that I'm happy to overlook it.
All right. I'm guessing you two are working with Lawrence McNabb. The locksmith said he gives you the keys and you're responsible for the recent string of burglaries. However, you should know the DA is only interested in McNabb. You two could make a deal with him. And that Charlie the security guard is about to walk through that door.
In fact, the casting in this movie is pretty solid. Tate Donovan is Nancy's dad Carson, Amy Bruckner and Cabe Panabaker as Nancy's trusty sidekicks Bess and George, and that's Ned? That's Ned Nickerson? That's Nancy's lifelong boyfriend? Ned Nickerson is supposed to be tall, athletic, and rugged. This kid looks like Justin Timberlake and Clay Aiken's love child. Well, let's see. Maybe he's as good of an actor as Emma Roberts.
Dreamed during my nap today where you went off to California and met that guy on Smallville, and you got amnesia and literally forgot you ever met me, and then...
Oh my god, I've seen cardboard boxes with more charisma! And what the hell is Smallville?
About 9 seasons too long.
So Carson takes Nancy home in her classic blue roadster from the books. Nice. And he feeds her the old line about how her sleuthing might get her hurt when Bess and George! Now, just for the record, Carson has always been very supportive of Nancy's sleuthing. But who gives a fuck about that now? Because Bess and George are on the scene, and that means them and Nancy are about to go off and solve another mystery and have a kick-ass adventure. Nope! Apparently, Bess and George are there to say goodbye to Nancy, as her and Carson are apparently moving to LA for an undisclosed amount of time. So, the first Nancy Drew movie in over 40 years doesn't take place in River Heights? That's like the first Batman movie not taking place in Gotham City.
Lame.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna let it slide. Because the best part of a Nancy Drew story is coming up, and that's when Nancy stumbles upon her next mystery.
My dad let me choose the house we're gonna live in, so I chose one with...
With a mystery.
But not just any mystery.
Wait, stop. What the fuck is this? So not only is her dad allowing her to pick the house that they're going to be living in, but she purposely picks a house with a mystery? Nancy Drew would never do that! She doesn't go around looking for mysteries. The mysteries come to her. This is equally as preposterous as the Ghostbusters moving into a haunted house.
I have seen shit that'll turn you white.
Ugh. Oh well. The mystery is this. The previous owner of the Drews' new home was the famous Hollywood starlet Delia Draycott. She mysteriously went missing for 5 months at the peak of her career. Shortly after she returned from her questionable absence, she was found dead in her home. Personally, I think that...
Hey, She-Was!
Oh, hi, E-Joy.
I found some clues!
Really? Alright, let's see them! Sweetie, those aren't really... I mean, good job, Cookie Pants. How about you, go look for more clues?
Yay! Puppies! Yay!
So Nancy is shown around their new home by their new landlady and... Ah!
To help you.
I love that. They fall for it every time. That's a projector.
That wasn't fun, you crazy bitch! Okay. Hopefully there won't be any more scariness in this crazy house. Holy testicles!
Let me know if there's anything I can do for you.
Hey, it's Marshall Bell! You know, he played Fort Plasko, one of my all-time favorite shows, Good vs. Evil.
Oh, I know him better as the gay gym teacher in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
You are not a nice lady.
So Nancy unpacks when one of her notebooks and a pair of her shoes suddenly go missing. Nancy's a master sleuth. She can find her notebooks and shoes before you can say, "She called the police?" Look, I know she promised her dad she wouldn't do any sleuthing while they were in LA, but this isn't sleuthing. This is called looking for your stuff.
Dumb, dumb, dumb.
So Nancy goes to school the next day and wait a minute. This movie takes place in modern times? But Nancy and everyone else from River Heights dresses and acts like they are from the 1950s. I don't get this.
I only had enough time for 12 flying buttresses, but in actuality, there are 26.
Why are they going out of their way to turn Nancy into an outcast? Is this a pathetic attempt to make us relate to her? You're doing it all wrong! Firstly, Nancy was never a Duffy social outcast in the books. In fact, she was pretty popular. Secondly, Nancy evolved with the times. She was always in style with whatever era the books were published in. And she wasn't mentally and fashionably stuck in the 1950s, even though I think the costumes in this movie are awesome. And lastly, and this is the important one, Nancy Drew is a character a lot like Superman. It's not a character that you're supposed to relate to. It's a character that you're supposed to aspire to want to be like. A tough, intelligent, independent woman. And another thing, her classmates are picking on her for being smart, well-dressed, and athletic.
Your logic does not resemble our Earth logic.
So two of the snobby bitches from Nancy's school try to pull a prank on her, in which they trick her into giving an annoying little fat kid CPR. The prank doesn't work, but they still laugh her out of the gym.
Oh, you idiot! You were supposed to kiss her. Lip lock. That was the plan.
You're not supposed to laugh when the prank doesn't work, you morons. Ugh. Can we just skip ahead to the mystery? So Nancy begins her investigation of Delia Drakehott's death when... it's the annoying fat kid from school.
I'm sorry about the weirdness.
Please go away. She's going to let him stay? Why? So this is going to be her sidekick for the movie? We traded Bess and George for this.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
That's like trading a time-traveling DeLorean for a foot-powered Flintstones mobile.
What do you think? I think the ability to sleuth is an attractive quality in a woman.
Veronica Mars would never put up with this.
That's like 50 points right there. And this might sound like a weird question, but you're not an orphan, are you?
Well, at least it can't get any worse than this.
Happy almost your birthday.
Ah, shitballs!
Hey, it could be worse. It could have been the Ned from the 1970s Nancy Drew Hardy Boys TV show. Yeah, more like Nerd Nickerson.
True. I just wish they would have picked someone more charismatic, like Jason Dohring or Colin Morgan.
Colin Morgan?
Yep.
For Colin Morgan, she is yearning. She runs favorite show, The Adventures of Merlin.
Watch me.
You better believe I'll be watching your fine ass. Anywho, Nancy looks at the frames from Delia's last film in the order in which they were shot, when she suddenly notices that the last group of frames are all in close-up. And she deduces that Delia must have been pregnant and that the filmmakers must have been trying to hide the pregnancy. Nancy watches a few more of Delia's movies looking for clues.
What are you doing?
Holy shitballs! Stop doing that! Nancy visits local adoption agencies to see if any children were given up for adoption the week in which Delia would have given birth to her baby. Unfortunately, the receptionist is a bit of a dick. Alright, Nancy, it's time to use your amazing skills of persuasion to get what you want by giving people pastries? Stop with the damn pastries already!
Oh, come on. You know you'd be compliant if somebody gave you some strudel.
Strudel. After doing a great deal of legwork, Nancy finds Delia's long-lost daughter, Jane, played by Rachel Lee Cook. Curious about why Jane was kept in the dark about her mother's identity, Nancy interrogates Delia's former agent, Daniel Biedermeier.
Suggesting that,
Astonishing.
it may imply that...
Absolutely astonishing.
As I was saying,
I'm very disappointed, Senator. Well, as you know...
Going on a hunch that Delia must have left a clue in one of her movie props she'd pawned off the day before she was murdered, Nancy tracks down the prop to an old Chinese antique shop, and oh, for God's sake, why did she bring the loser brigade with her? Why are the dumb bitches from her school there?
What are you guys doing in here? This is so non-linear.
You know, it's not that I hate her. I just want her to get fingered by Wolverine. Nancy hits a dead end and heads back to her car where she finds a car bomb. Quick, put some whipped cream on it and give it to the fat kid.
It really gets my goat when someone tries to kill me. It's so rude.
If the bad guys are trying to kill her, that must mean she's getting close to the murderer.
What are you doing?
Eh? I'm thinking. Shh. Do you know who murdered Delia Dracott? Think about the clues. She obviously went away for 5 months because she was pregnant, and she gave her baby away to keep it a secret. Ah, but don't forget about that dying clue. You got it? If you don't worry. You might even figure this one out before I do.
Who done it? We'll find out after a word from our sponsor. One, two, three, four, five. Your turn.
The butler did it.
How did you... Never mind.
So let's see what we have so far. A dead starlet, a creepy undertaker, a douchebag agent, redundant I know, a hidden clue, and an impoverished orphan. Do you know who did it?
Hey, Shivos, I know.
Alrighty, Joy, lay it on me.
Okay, I will start this thing. If Delia kept her daughter hidden, it must be because the killer wanted to hurt the baby, meaning that the baby had a value like an inheritance. In fact, I'll bet you 22.80 that what's hidden in the prop box is Delia's will, which more than likely entitled Jane to Delia's fortune, which means that the one lowlife who could have anything to lose in all of this would be... Dum dum dum! Delia's former agent, Daniel C. Biedermeier.
You know what, Joy? You can be my Robin anytime.
Yay! Puppies! Yay!
So yes, Biedermeier is the killer, and he is after Delia's will. Unfortunately, Nancy doesn't figure this out until she just happens to be in Biedermeier's limo along with Carson. Tuck and roll, Nancy! Tuck and roll! Biedermeier eventually catches up with Nancy within a secret passage under Delia's house. Man, this is a really dangerous situation. For him!
Right in the round tables.
Boot to the head.
Eventually, the action moves to Nancy's bedroom where the bad guys monologue further. Now, traditionally, this is where Nancy would be assisted by Ned or Carson or Chief McGinnis or... the creepy guy? Well, as it turns out, not only was Creepy Guy Delia's lover and Jane's father, but he is also entitled to part of the inheritance. And Nancy was smart enough to record Biedermeier's confession. Nice. Oh, what the fuck are these idiots doing there? This isn't a Disney movie! The heroine doesn't need a bunch of dumbass sidekicks! Ah, fuck it, let's just finish this! The case is solved. Biedermeier goes to jail, Jane and Creepy Guy get the inheritance, and Nancy and Carson go back to River Heights, where the entire fucking movie should have taken place in the first place. And now, at the end of the movie is when Nancy is presented with a far more interesting case that once again takes her out of River Heights. Ugh!
Nancy?
Yes?
Phone call. Long distance from Scotland. Something about the Loch Ness Monster and some missing diamonds.
Another case.
Ha! Fine.
This movie is, regular. While Emma Roberts is awesome as Nancy Drew, and the mystery is pretty solid, the film is still packed with a lot of pointless scenes, annoying douchebag characters, and more padding than Paris Hilton's bra. And where the hell did Nancy's stolen shoes disappear to? Nobody knows! Erod, you have anything to add from a movie critic standpoint?
Oh, now I can talk? This movie's a perpetually padded piece of pretentious prattle. All of this movie's problems could have been solved with a quick re-edit. Get rid of all the padding, the dumbass sidekicks, and the pointless high school subplot, and we could have had a far superior Nancy Drew movie. Oh, and before I forget, somewhere close to the middle of the movie, there's this weird-ass cameo by Bruce Willis. What is the point of having somebody who's famous for being an action hero in a Nancy Drew movie? Wouldn't it make more sense to get a celebrity cameo from somebody who is famous for playing a female sleuth? Somebody like Keely Martin or Angela Lansbury, giving Nancy Drew her blessing and sending her on her way. That would have been cool. Shira, anything else you would like to add as a lifelong hardcore fan?
As a matter of fact, I do. There are 3 things that confounded me. Number 1, why did they have to take Nancy out of River Heights? Were they trying to save money by shooting in LA? Number 2, why was Nancy stuck in the 1950s? Was there a time warp around River Heights? I don't get it. And number 3, why in the name of Carolyn Keene did they bother to get 2 great actresses to play Bess and George and then not use them? That was a dumb move. It was like having Kim Possible without Ron or Catwoman without Holly Robinson. You want to see the heroine with her trusty sidekicks. Now, if you want to hear my opinion about other Nancy Drew movies and shows, here it goes. The movies from the late 30s starring Benita Granville are corny but fun. While Nancy is portrayed well, I only recommend these for the hardcore fans. The Nancy Drew Hardy Boys mystery show from the 70s was okay. My only real gripe is that it focused way too much on the Hardys.
Hey, wasn't that the show where the girl that played Nancy posed for Playboy?
Shut up. The 2002 movie starring Maggie Lawson as Nancy featured some good casting and some great performances, but the mystery was really lame. My personal favorite was the TV series from 1995. While it was a half-hour show, which is way too damn short of a time to properly flesh out a mystery, Tracy Ryan was a great Nancy, and in spite of all the early 1990s cheese, Nancy is still portrayed as the tough, tenacious super sleuth that I admired as a little girl. Interesting fact, Scott Speedman from the Underworld movies played Ned in this show. Yep, super sexy Scott Speedman used to play Ned. Do you now understand why I complain so much about this? So that's 1 busted and thousands more to go. I'm She-Rod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster.
Hey!
Chillax. You can have your chair back next week. You want to play the Nancy Drew board game with me?
No, you always win.
You can be Nancy.
Let's go!
And how about Robin? Yay! But Jason thought no, because he dies.